Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here, Smart Business Moves. Got Liz Trotter with us. Hello, Liz.
No.
Yep. Hello. And got two of my most favorite people in the cleaning business world, Diana and Chad Henley from Nature Care Cleaning and Pest Control, Houston, Texas. Hey, guys.
Hey there.
God.
Hi,
Diana
guys.
and I go way back. We're dry vapor steam cleaning buddies.
Yes, we are.
We were on the bleeding edge of that.
Still are.
Still are. It works. It's
Still
awesome
be.
technology. And actually, in a COVID-19 world, there's something to be said for killing germs with dry steam vapor. And I guess, with tanks and all the technology that we probably know more about than we should, you can kill them in like 4 seconds, right?
Oh, yeah. 7 seconds maybe tops, but we still use our dry vapor steam machines. Still out there killing things with them.
Yeah, we do too. Along with a big suite of other stuff.
Yes.
Liz, what's going on in your world?
Same old. Just same stuff I told you before the show. Nothing. Nothing fresh. Am I glitchy or are you guys glitchy?
You're glitchy.
It's you.
It's all you, Liz.
I'm
Sorry.
glitchy.
Yeah.
I mean, we love you
have
anyway. No, nothing personal.
I have a Ring Central meeting in the background that is trying to render. I think that's causing me problems.
MMA group? Are you doing a MMA group in the middle of our Facebook Live?
No, it's the recording of this morning's call. It's trying to render.
Oh, okay. So that could take a long time.
Yeah, that's
Suck up some bandwidth.
We did a site visit, and so it was really a long call. It was like, I think 2.5 hours today. So it's going to take a while. Sorry.
Dang.
Sorry, y'all. I know.
Okay.
I had no clue it would still be rendering.
Right.
Well, we wanted to take today as an opportunity to let Diana and Chad share a little bit about their businesses and how they've evolved over the years. And, I guess it's a really good example of how you can be in the home service world and leverage a lot of the assets and resources you have to provide multiple services. And you guys have kind of taken it to a new level. So you guys want to share a little bit about what you're doing?
Sure. So we have a natural care cleaning service, and we've been in business almost 12 years, I believe. It'll be 12 years in August. And let's see, how long ago did we do this? We once we got into it cleaning and became more comfortable, we started looking around at other industries that we wanted to explore possibly. For some reason, windows have always been, like, I really want to do windows, but we don't do windows yet. So I'm not sure when this happened. How
3 years ago?
3?
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, sorry. I'm not good with
It all kind of blurs, doesn't it?
It really does. There's been a lot on my mind lately.
I'll be thinking about something from 1985 and thought it was, last month. It's like, what?
Okay, so 3 years ago, I became friends with a guy in the pest control industry here in town, and he and I would see each other at vendor shows, and I really became interested in his business, mostly because his revenue was bigger with fewer employees. That seemed really attractive to me, to have, these teams that brought in more revenue. And so then I'll let you tell us about how we started our natural care pest control.
Oh, so of course we have our daughter Candace. She's our operations manager. She married a guy that was in pest control and worked actually for that company that Diana mentioned.
That's how they met.
Yeah, and so he was kind of the.
Did you plan that? Did you make the introduction? Was that?
Yeah, she does her own thing.
Arranged business marriage.
I didn't even know they were dating. She just, hey, you know that guy that on the pest control? I met one of his employees, and so that's how they got married.
Okay, the rest is history.
Right.
But yeah, so she ended up marrying him, and he was going to. I think he was going to move to Austin. They offered him, they were going to open up in Austin or in Houston, and start a division there, and he was going to be kind of part owner and move over there. But this whole time, they had him working,
a lot.
7 days a week,
70 hours, 80 hours a week.
80 hours a week on salary. So,
yeah.
And of course, that would have meant Candace would have moved with the kids and all that. So Diana started finagling like she does. You just know that, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
So let me think of another story. You think talking about, why don't we do pest here? And so he kind of came on board, and that's how we got started.
Mm-hmm. So our son-in-law helped us start Natural Care Pest Control.
So how long ago was it? Was it 3 years ago?
Now,
Okay.
full disclosure, he only stayed with Natural Care Pest Control for a couple of months. We just couldn't ramp up fast enough for him. And he started doing other things on the side that took his attention. And so because this is a family business, my son works with us, my daughter works with us, Chad and I. My son came over he did natural care quality control type work, came over and started training to be pest control. So he actually is our pest control technician.
Okay.
He's one of them. Yeah.
I did not know Nick actually worked doing that. I don't know how I missed that piece.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Last year, about 1 year ago exactly, because our second pest technician just celebrated his 1 year anniversary last week. He's one of my son's buddies from high school who worked for a pest control company here in town, and they didn't really pay very much. He didn't work very many hours. So we brought him on a year ago. So we really do like family.
Yeah, you guys really do.
Yeah.
I really love family too. So I'm all about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bring them all in.
So when you start a business, you go in with some idea, some pro forma, some expectations of this is how the numbers are going to work. And once you get into it, it never works out that way. Mm-hmm. So what did you learn through this whole process? You can start wherever you want. Well, let me help you. You said the thing that made this attractive to you is, I guess the fancy term for it is return on human capital. House cleaning, if you're lucky, you might be able to get $200-300 of revenue a day out of a cleaning technician, out of a cleaning professional, which is kind of a low end scale in terms of human capital. People, you can pick your flavor in terms of field service work, and most technicians are getting billed out at a higher hourly rate. Were you able to see that higher return on human capital that you were expecting to see in pest control?
Well,
yeah, definitely. I mean, because throughout, what did you say, 250 a day? So
300.
Yeah, so 1250. I mean, a pest technician can do 5,000 by himself.
A day?
Not a day, in a week.
A week.
So 1250. Yeah, it's 1,000 a day. So where you might expect to get, I did just crunch the number, 65,000 for one cleaner. One technician brings in $250,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's why it's a lot. I mean, it's flipped. So we don't, we have 25, 30 employees for cleaning. The same size pest control business would be 4 or 5 guys. Yeah. But then the flip is you have to have a lot of clients. A nice big cleaning business is 500 or 600, where a nice big pest business is starts at 5,000 to 6,000 and goes up. So you have to have thousands of clients. So that's the end you really have to work on.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was really curious about.
I hate the lag.
Go ahead, Liz.
All right. So, okay. So I was really curious about you guys going into COVID, right, with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Did having these two different businesses, did that help? How did that play out? Was it a good thing, a bad thing, challenges? How did it?
Well, with cleaning, I think, I forget the percentage. We crunched the numbers during the middle of it.
50%.
Or at that time, the middle of it, we thought was, yeah. So I think 50%, was it down that much?
Yeah.
Yeah.
40 to 50% loss.
Yeah.
In that one really intense time when the city shut down.
Right. And pests, people still have pest issues. They still need to get them taken care of. Now, we did lose just a few people that didn't want to service, or they canceled maybe because of job issues or financial. But we were lucky in that pest is mainly exterior. We have to go inside occasionally, but it's all really exterior service. So we're, we put a lot of emails out, especially, for cleaning, how the safety precautions we're doing that. But you can't help but, you're bringing 2 or 3 people in some people's homes for hours, where a pest technician is out there 15 minutes in the interior of a home. So, we didn't take as big of a hit. Now, I am in some pest control groups, and there was a guy that he's actually in New York. And of course, that's all apartments and, big buildings. And he took a big hit initially because, because New York was, the epicenter there for a while too. So depending on your area, but for the most part, everybody's kind of just booming with pest control now. It's a big pest season.
Yeah.
So it's kind of helped offset some of the cleaning decline we've seen.
So is there seasonality in the pest control business?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it starts in March, winds down about October. The real high band is, probably between May, June, July. You get pest issues all year round. But that's when all the calls are. You got pest control companies that are out there trying to grow, and they hire all these door-to-door knockers. You've probably seen these guys that they've come up to your door. Most of them are out of Utah. They hire a lot of Mormons because they're used to knocking on doors and getting rejections and handle themselves. And so they bring them in, and they make phenomenal money. I mean, in the summer, which is 3 months, they can make $25,000, $30,000. They actually pay these guys. They pay them like 60, 70, 80% of the annual revenue from a pest. So if they sign something on a contract, they get an 80% of that, and they get trips, and they get housing paid for. It's a whole industry. So as a pest control company, you don't actually make any money for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So, and you're going to lose if you're 60%, but it's a whole different thing because it's, unlike cleaning, there's some big players in pests. You've got Terminix and Orkin, and the numbers are just crazy right now. Just to give you an idea, they pay out based on revenue. So if you're a $3 million pest control business, they're seeing numbers in the $1 to $1.50, $1.75. So if you're, what I say, 3 million. So if you're 3 million, you could expect to get 3 million for your business if one of these big companies come along and buy you up. So that's why these other companies come along and they try to build their business up with all these door knockers, and then they try to turn around and sell them, and then they do it again. They just build up businesses and then they flip them to the big companies. So that's like the business in itself, right?
So they give away 80% of an annual contract to the salesperson, thinking that they're going to make money in year 2, maybe, and beyond.
Yeah.
3, yeah. Or they're trying to build up to, build the numbers up because they're going to sell. So they want to have, because like I said, you're making $1, you're making dollar for dollar or $1.50 on revenue. Based on your profit, it's based on actual revenue. You can show 3 million in revenue for that year. You need $4.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need some big companies in cleaning that can come along and buy. Such like
It's interesting. A lot of it gets back to that return on human capital, though.
Yeah.
Would you say you can get like $250,000 a year off of a technician?
Yeah, optimal. I mean, 200 to 250,000 for a technician.
So, I mean, that changes everything. That changes what wages you're able to pay. the whole economic structure of the business changes. That's a much more attractive business to grow and to package. And wow, that's awesome.
They have their issues with turnover employees too, surprisingly. But what I like about it is you could pay people a lot more. You know, you can offer benefits. All these things are just kind of, because you're at a, you know, when you're at that price point, you can offer a lot more to them. You know, versus, you know, we're always every year like, how can we offer medical? What can we, you know, how we keep trying to like, what can we add on and what can we do for the technicians, the cleaning technicians? So, you know, we kind of cap out what we can do.
Yeah.
Ernie's with us here, and he had a pest control company that sold out to Terminex. Ernie, are you saying that you ran a pest control business for a while?
That's what it says.
Renaissance man, everything from DJ to association, to,
I had no idea.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, the stories will never hear.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh.
I think he was asking, is that a viable option? It's not really on our radar, but I mean, I don't know. What makes us different. You know, we're not our cleaning service, so we're not for pest control. So we're a green company. There are green companies out there. That's, you know, I don't know enough about it to know. I mean, these companies are getting bought up. You know, I'm assuming it would be a better fit for an Orkin or a Terminex if they were buying a similar company that was just using synthetic chemicals and they could transition over, you know, over easily. But yeah, it's not something we're looking at. But it's in the back of my head. I mean, maybe somebody would buy us. We actually had our competitor in town offer to buy us and told us maybe we should just focus on cleaning.
Yeah, he did.
I guess you just focus on cleaning. Just some of your customers.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
But what Ernie said was the company that he was getting service from was bought out by Terminex.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the idea for a lot of these small companies.
Yeah, I think it's going to crash, but I was just on a conference call last week, and I think the numbers I gave you, they're even going up higher, you know, so if you've structured your business right and everything's in place, you know, especially if you're bigger, I mean, you can get a lot of return on a pest control business.
Yeah, and you see the same thing.
What, Liz?
Is your plan to like run this business for a long time? What is the plan for the pest control?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any plans to sell, or we're not trying to grow to sell. We're just trying to grow a second business to a point and structure the same as the cleaning. The cleaning can pretty much run on its own now. I mean, we can leave, we can be gone. You know, we still like to do our daily calls to see what's going on, but we don't have to be there. So it kind of runs on its own. So we'd like to build a pest up, you know, and sky's kind of the limit, you know. So, you know, as far as how big you want to build it, and how aggressive you want to be. So yeah, our goal is just to kind of grow and you know, just kind of live off of it. And then if something happens, you never know if you're going to get an offer. But if you're asking which one we would sell first, it would probably be the cleaning business.
Well,
I kind of get that.
It's kind of nice because the cleaning business goes into a pretty busy season as the pest control business winds down. And actually, our pest control, our second pest technician, we didn't need him last winter because it was getting slow, and we really only had work for one technician in the wintertime. And so we just offered him the opportunity to clean.
Yeah.
So he switched. So our second technician, he cleans or does pest control, whatever's needed. So of course he's super busy right now with pest control. But I heard the other day they had some cancellations because of rain or something, and so he came into the office at 1 o'clock, asked who needed help, and went out and helped clean for the rest of the day.
Cool.
So he's pretty.
Wow.
Yeah, he's really easygoing. You know, he wants to work. He just wants to work.
Yeah.
So we work really hard to make sure that everybody gets enough hours.
Dan, I know your house cleaning business, you kind of put a focus on using natural products, environmentally, responsible, safe. We talked about the dry steam vapor earlier. And is there like an analogy to that, or is there a way of attacking the pest control side of the business with that same set of values, if you will?
Interesting. When I started cleaning, our cleaning business, it was totally based on my own wishes. This is how I clean my home. How can I scale that? And so with the pest control, actually the company that my son-in-law worked for, I called him because we have really bad mosquitoes here like you guys do. And, but I also garden a lot. We have a big garden in the backyard. We have a koi pond. I love my garden. And so he came and they did a natural fog for mosquitoes. And I didn't have, I had all these, 12 tomato plants with blooms, no tomatoes, no bees. And yes. And so that felt like I had just killed my animal or something. I felt so horribly irresponsible and guilty. And my son-in-law too, because he was taking care of not only my yard, but also his grandparents, who the same thing. And so I started doing more research on the product that this company was using and found out that it does indeed kill pollinators, which devastated me. I had no idea. And I really did feel irresponsible. And so when we started talking about this, the whole idea was we have got to find a way to do this where we can live without all the mosquitoes and enjoy our backyard, but also not kill our bees. We actually have a beehive in the backyard now. We didn't then, thank goodness. But we definitely don't want to kill the bees. We want to take care of the homes safe. We don't want to worry about our children, our pets. Our koi fish are very sensitive to pesticides in the backyard. So we, very sensitive to that. So we take care of it accordingly.
Okay. Go ahead, Liz.
I figure I better just raise my hand. It's a really long lag. All right. So my question is around the pandemic. Have you guys gotten any pushback on the natural, that aspect of things in either the cleaning or in the pest control? Are people wanting more death, more killing, or anything? Nothing, huh?
We've had people ask. It's not overwhelming, but I've actually took a call even recently, and they said, "I know you're natural, but what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, because of this, we've incorporated a product called Envirox. It's peroxide based. It's the most low impact product we can find, but it's still a viricide and a sanitizer." Mm-hmm. And she goes, "Oh, good. So we had to change it. We did change everything because of that. Even though we do the steam, not all our clients are on the steam." And we send emails out to all our clients, letting them know let them know that step. We didn't get any pushback based on that, which is what we were thinking, because a lot of people like low impact products. So, but I don't think anybody complained about us switching to this for right now. But yeah, we did some changes on our own before anybody said anything.
Well, and we had before this started a disinfecting fog. That we had started working with last fall. Before this started, I just happened to be lucky that I thought, okay, I want to incorporate this into our business, and so we had that, and we were able to offer that. So we're still very effective. I think that the pest control, you guys, and I'm not super involved in the pest control. They have levels too, where if there's a real bad infestation of something, they will go up a level. They can go up a level if they need to.
The heavy duty stuff.
Yeah. So there's there's a thing called FIFRA. It's FIFRA. So the FDA or EPA. I'm trying to blank on which one.
I think it's the EPA. The same people who do disinfectants and control
these products. And there's certain PPEs that are required. Especially in pest control, where you've got to be wearing long sleeves so it doesn't get on your skin. There's certain hats. You have to wear goggles. Sometimes you have to wear breathing respirators so you don't get it in your lungs. They're pretty corrosive chemicals that they're using on your body. So a lot of our baseline products that are just default for us are called FIFA exempt. So they have no PPE requirements. They're exempt from any of that labeling. Using the word safe is not really allowed or a good thing to say, because then that just assumes, you don't. It's still a product. It's we call it low impact. So that's kind of all our default products, and then we step up to kind of a plant-based products, and then maybe some synthetic based on plant-based. So we can go heavier, but for 95% of our cases, we're kind of managing it with all other stuff, and it's really about integrated pest management, because it's if they're getting beetles up against the window, they're like, well, maybe turn off your light, turn off your porch light, close your windows. Manually doesn't help anyway. So there's things you can do not even using chemicals. So it's just a matter of getting those things out of the way first.
Yes.
So actually, if you're using like disinfectants on the cleaning side, that's controlled by FIFA. So in some regards, you might be more safer on the pest control side than on the cleaning side, depending on what products you're using.
Yeah.
Wow. We've got a question here from Dana, who wants to know which Envirox product you use.
Good question. You got it.
Yeah, I bought it and then I walked away. At the office.
We bought it, handed it to the staff, trained them, and left.
Let me see. I think there's two. I think they're actually the same. One is just.
Is it the hydrogen peroxide based product?
Peroxide based. It's like the one. That's Floor. I was trying to look real quick. I think it's like the 117. It's called the 117. So, but the two products they have, basically, I think one's even more concentrated than the other. It's the same thing. And then we bought the special dispenser from them, so it dilutes it out. So you don't have to buy as much product, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is good because, smaller carbon footprint, shipping lots of water across the country.
Right. Yeah. As far as starting a business, though, I'd say we've been pretty lucky that we have Candace, and we're thankful that we have Nick. It's taken a lot of load off because I trust Nick. You have issues with technicians with pest control. Did they do the route? Did they do the job? Did they do everything on the house they're supposed to? So I don't ever worry about any of that. There's never any issues. There's no call-ins. So it makes that part easier. And when you're starting a business and you hire your first cleaner and you start booking jobs and that cleaner quits, you really feel it, compared to when you have 20 and you can kind of absorb that doesn't come in. So when you're first starting, it makes it really rough. So we're lucky in that way. But
our kids are very conscientious.
Yeah. But I would definitely recommend making sure your first business is profitable and established and smooth running, because it's not like, well, we're just going to bring this in. It's a whole other business. You've got to, you build a campaign with cleaning to market to them, then you got to build a whole other campaign for pests. So it's a separate business, really. There's no way to really integrate it as far as the workload. Go ahead, Liz.
Liz, you had your hand up.
All right. Yeah. So I'm curious. I know you guys only have 2 kids, so I'm thinking that means maybe you can only have 2 companies. But
4 kids.
Well, yeah, but they're little. Well, I guess like in a couple more years, then are you guys thinking about you're going to do something else, or I mean, because I know you really are interested in doing other stuff all the time. So are you looking at other diversification other than these 2? Windows, handyman, anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see. It just so happened it worked out this way for us. I mean, Candace used to do hair and got mad at her boss, and I told her to come clean houses for a while she thought about her next path. So we really just got lucky, and we are very attached to our kids too. They live in the neighborhood. So I guess we'll just see what Ellie and Alex are drawn to and see if that's something that they're interested in. Sometimes I think Alex has I really just want Candace's job. I just want to do what Candace does. And
Everybody
I'm like,
wants Candace's job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Candace has Candace's job.
Well, years ago, I mean, when this Book It Now thing kind of exploded, and there was all this, what service businesses can you apply that to? I mean, I started moving forward on lawn care, right? I was I had the website and the name, and I actually know somebody that was pretty successful growing a lawn care, like a booking, but we just kind of let that go because we get so busy with cleaning. So, but that's the only one I was really excited about. But I actually like Pest better. The other thing I liked about Pest was you have to be certified. You have to have a license.
Right.
So in my naive mind, I was thinking, oh, well, it's a harder level. You can't just buy a mop and put it in your trunk and go clean, right? We don't have all those competitors. But once I started pest control business, I've never, once you're in something, you see it. I've never seen so many different pest control trucks running around town. And every day I see a new one. I'm like, well, I've never even today I saw a new one. And what happens is these are guys that, they got trained. They have a little more gumption, and then they don't like their job. And so they start their own company. It's a one-man job and they make good money. So there's 1,000 pest control companies. So it's not there is a threshold, but it's met with people that can meet, there's a lot of people that meet that threshold. Go ahead, Liz.
So what I just heard, I know that you guys have, the 2 really solid employees, but do you have any concern about, it sounds like that's a really a big problem. Like, people worry about that. It's cleaning, that I hire people and then they're going to take my customers and they're going to go off on their own. Is that a real worry with pest control? Kind of sounds like it.
I'm not worried about it with these guys. I'm in some groups with owners and I'm in groups with just pest control guys. And it's funny because when the pest control guys leave, there's a reason that they feel like they've left and they were wronged or they weren't treated right. And so they take customers and then they're messaging in the groups and they're saying, the owner's going to say he's going to sue me because I signed a non-compete or whatever. And then everybody in the group says, don't worry about it. They can't take your livelihood away. And it's meaningless. So I get to see both sides, right? And then I have the pest control groups, so the owners, where they're like, oh my gosh, he just took all our clients. But we have the same thing in place for cleaning as we do pests. And that's, we got that from Matt Ricketts, which is not a non-compete, but a privacy kind of clause where they can't use customers' information. And so if they take that, then it's easier to go after them. So, and we've lost a lot of clients, not a lot, but we've lost clients with cleaning.
Yeah, over 12 years or so, maybe 5 or 6 times where somebody has
they've taken small batches
left and taken a handful, and it's very irritating for a minute, and then I move on to the next.
But if one person in one truck can do $250,000 a year in revenue, one rogue employee could do a lot more financial damage.
Yes. That's why you have to have a really good talk with them. I think when you're signing them up and let them know what you're signing up for. I mean, I don't care if they know what you're signing up for. They can't take the customers, that we pay thousands of dollars to get. So we'd probably definitely be a lot more aggressive if they were taking customers from us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hire people to knock on doors?
No, that's kind of a big debate. You kind of have to know what you're doing. Now, there's companies that you can buy, that you can pay to do it for you. I actually talked to a guy, and he claimed he was working for a company in town here, and he claimed he added 4,000 or 5,000 customers in one summer to them. But he kind of laid these numbers out to me. I mean, to pay him, it was like 95%. So he takes a little bit, and then he pays the other guys 70 or 80% or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So as he's telling me, it's like an onion. He kept giving me these layers of bad news. Like, oh, okay, well, I got to give away my whole year's worth of revenue. And he's like, oh, and by the way, you got to pay for them living. And we do these trips. You're going to have to pay for these trips. I'm like, oh my gosh. But he told me it's over 3 years to get me payback. And he actually emailed me afterwards, goes, you're not in a position. I mean, you have to have a lot of financial revenue to weather that 3-year storm as you, especially when you grow. And to just do door knocking without any sales training, it's hard for the best of them, I think. So to just go out there raw. So we try to do referrals. We have little signs we put in the yard, which we try to do in other ways. I'm not really confident of the door knocking. We do the 5 rounds, the 8 rounds or something, or they'll do some door hangers if it's slow. But these guys, they're running around in segways, knocking on doors. They're highly efficient selling machines.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you get mixed reviews in the local groups. A lot of people hate them. Pest control companies really hate them, but just the local residential groups, people comment, "Oh, this guy's knocking on my door," especially during COVID. They don't like that.
How sticky are pest control clients? What type of turnover do you get? They're signing up for like a recurring service, I would think, for the most part. What type of turnover do you see from a client standpoint?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, I have not even looked at that number because we're so small that the churn has not affected us like it does with cleaning. It's, when you get big, you fill it with cleaning, because you add 30 clients and you're feeling pretty good, but you forgot about the 30 that went out the door because of your size, right? So, and we're not there yet, and we haven't been doing it long enough, but we've kept most of our clients. It's really low monthly. We're at $35 a month, so it's very minimal expense. Pest control for a recurring service is $400 to $500 for the year. We bill monthly. It's what else I was going to say. So it's really low expense for them. So unless they move, we have a few unhappy customers that they have that thing with the green. Like, oh, green doesn't work, so we're just going to abandon it, right? So we've lost a few because of that. But they're very nice about it. It's like they knew that they were signing up for this, and they kind of knew that it might not work, which was not the case, but that's just in their head, right?
Right.
So lost a few for that. So we had to change our spiel a little bit to let them know, how it does work and it's effective, and that we do have other products if needed. So.
Well, I think some people too, which was a surprise for me. Some people never want to see a single bug in their home ever, and they will call you if there is a single silverfish or whatever. There is a spider in my house. You need to come back, a spider. And so setting expectations, like with anything, you have to set really good expectations. Yeah. I have to tell you though, Chad used to answer the phone on the weekends. He'd take the calls, and he had a woman call him sobbing
because there was a bug.
Well, she wasn't from this area, and there was a American roach, like a palm meadow bug. They're pretty big and they fly.
The tree roaches,
which you've seen those funny memes on Facebook.
South Carolina,
they're fly.
Very popular here.
Yes.
Yeah. So
here too.
She was like, and I was like, I can't. By the time I get there, the bug's going to walk away. I'm not going to find it. You can't come. She wanted to get caught. She wasn't wanting the treatment. She wanted that.
You corner him and don't let him out of your sight. I'll be right.
Yeah.
He has had people call. A man called him one night, Sunday at 9 o'clock, because there was a snake under his car.
Wow.
And he wanted him to come get it. And Dad's like, well, I'm going to have to charge you this much money, and whether that snake is still under your car or not. So you and I are country folks. So to us, we're like, huh. Okay. That was interesting though. Yeah. Flying roaches. That'll bring tears to your eyes.
Liz, you got a question?
Yeah, I did actually. I was wondering, because you guys run both of the companies and it's all family, how much do you guys borrow from each other? Like borrow processes and policies and systems, and do you think that had an impact on being able to grow the pest control quicker? Or
pest control doesn't borrow near as much as I want them to borrow from cleaning. I was wondering. We're lucky that we have our base clients, so that's helpful. And then the space and the office staff, all of that is nicely shared, right? So when we started pest control, the people that answer our phone, they actually have some sales training tomorrow, but we just started working with them on that. And the processes has been slower, because pest control started with Chad and one person. And so we have these big extravagant meetings every week with lots of hoo-ha and bells and whistles, and trying to kind of push this guy over into our meetings and stuff was a little challenging. But what have y'all done?
Well, like we talked about the non-compete, so the privacy.
Yeah.
We took that. We're going to eventually split off. That's the goal, into a separate company. But it's just easier right now. So they run all our payroll. Everything's run even through the same software. We run everything through the same thing. The software does support some pests, because pest has different liability and reporting requirements that are needed. So yeah, a lot of it is, and like she said, we actually have these big display boards in the meeting rooms where it shows our quality score for the week. It ranks everybody. It shows them what their bonuses are going to be for the week. There's a tip screen, shows them their tips. And so, when you have 25, 30 cleaners and you got one or two pest guys, it's really, hard to integrate those two together in the meetings, but they don't get the same, they're not set up the same, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of it, like it's nice because we're able to borrow from the staff. It's a little bit taxing because, like I said, you have a lot more clients than you do techs. So, they got a lot more calls they have to field. So we'll probably have to start adding more office staff to help with sales and stuff. But if you're trying to bootstrap it, it's nice because you can just kind of slit it in and try to grow it that way. And the first year, I wasn't as involved. And like I said, Nick was half and half. So he would be in the office fixing steamers or vacuums or doing quality checks. And then he would go out and do 2 or 3 pest jobs. So we were able to really, it wasn't like, okay, we've got to commit all this money and we have to start growing and we have to hire a full-time technician. We already had Nick. So we were pretty lucky.
We almost treated it like an add-on service.
Yeah.
It's like natural care add-on service, pest control, and,
Is there much crossover? Do your residential clients also use your pest control?
Not as much as I'd like. We're actually doing a big push this month, offering free initials for all our clients. One thing I'm going to integrate into our nurture campaign for our new clients is after 30 days or something, maybe offer that. When they book, they can choose pest control. We get a few people that choose one time or recurring when they book. But again, it's not a whole lot. And it's not as much as I thought, really. I'm trying to think percentage-wise. I think it's 10%.
You could have like a package deal with some type of discount, and it's like, we'll come in and kill the bugs, and then we'll come clean them up.
There you go. There you go. Well, it's one of those add-on too at the end of our booking form. Oh, by the way, would you like to add on pest control? So we do get some that way. We do get some recurring clients that way, but we have 2 separate sites, 2 separate everything. And I don't think we've done as good a job as we could on integrating them. So we're working on that right now. We actually have some web design work going on.
What you got, Liz?
You said you guys were going to separate. Why is that? Sounds like it's working pretty well, keeping them together. Why are you going to separate?
Well, it's nice now, but like I said, if we want to sell one of them, they're stuck together. So we want to keep them separate. And, and like I said, once we grow, we'll have to maybe use a different software. We'll have to do some different things with them because it's like it's completely different. They're all solos. They all have their own trucks. What else? Yeah, I mean, it's just beneficial to stay together now, but once they get to the right size, you're eventually going to want a separate field manager, office manager, because you might have somebody that oversees both of them. Maybe Candace does that or something, but you still want somebody in charge of each company. That's their focus on, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about. Go ahead, Liz.
I was just thinking it would be a good idea to put Candace over everything, because that way your son would have a job available.
There you go. When he's 18, or I mean, he's only 14 now, but we'll keep that in mind, Liz.
Yeah, he wants.
When he gets older, you need to get him a Segway and get him out knocking on doors.
There you go. Mr. Personality would do it.
He would do it.
He would love to do that.
Really good.
Yeah, he would. And it's funny, those door knockers, I love it when they knock on our door, and they are, and they did knock on our door a couple of months ago before all this COVID started, and just the smoothest, and I told him right away, well, we own a pest control company, but tell me all about your job. I want to know what's going on here. He was very friendly. He told me all about it.
Let's go get my video camera.
Yeah. Yeah, if you YouTube pest control door-to-door sales and stuff, you'll see these companies. They actually broadcast their sales techniques on YouTube. I think probably some of it's private, but
They're pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a brutal thing. Like I said, there's a lot of money to be made for people that can handle a lot of rejection.
Yes.
A lot of what we talk about here on Smart Business Moves ties into COVID-19 crisis. I mean, it's an unprecedented event that we're trying to figure out how to manage and go through. But you guys, this isn't the first unprecedented event you guys have been dealing with in the last few years. You guys had a 100-year flood. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do the whole thing. It just seems like it was yesterday, but when was it?
I think it was
3
years ago. It was a 500-year flood.
500-year flood. Let's hope so. Were you guys doing the pest control at that time?
No, we weren't.
I don't think so. If we were, it was I don't think so, because no, we might have been, because we had to pivot really quickly and we were drying out houses for a while. Chad was. I mean, lost a lot of our clients were underwater, so we lost a good 20%.
In every sense of the word. In every sense of the word, they were underwater.
They were. It was our neighborhood, that our area of town that was really hit bad by not just the storm, but the flood, the dam. When they released the water from the dam.
Yeah, it wasn't like a normal flood, which is
wasn't.
bad enough where it floods and then it kind of drains. I mean, people were underwater for weeks.
Yes.
And the city was cut in half. So because the bayou runs through the middle of the city, so all of the roads that go between I-10's west-east, and then all the roads going north-south, went all of them, but one in town and one out of town, you could cross. And so to get from one side of town to the other, you had to drive around through the middle of the city. So so we lost a bunch of clients that were along that band where it flooded, and then for the ones that we didn't lose, I mean, we spent hours driving to get to them.
Yeah, a 20-minute drive took 3 hours. So every day trying to make the decision when they were going to open roads and stuff. It was a hard time. This is harder. This has been harder, I think. That was really hard because it was just all at once, and there was a lot of drownings and stuff. So it was hard on our city.
Did you learn anything from that experience that led you to start a pest control business, to diversify? Did the flood shape your strategy moving forward?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything. I mean, like we said, the pest control just kind of came to us, right? We're not always looking for a business, but you always hear about a business like, wow, that sounds interesting, or that sounds different or exciting. So we hear different things all the time. So that just kind of came to us. But we were just we learned we just have to be very flexible, right? So we were pretty successful shifting in advertising for tear outs, because everybody's homes had to be tore out to the studs, and then you had to bring in specialized equipment that fans and dryers, and you have to seal the house and dry them for weeks. So we did a lot of business with that. So same with this one. So when the COVID hit, where we tried to shift, so we tried to do more disinfecting pods. That was successful, I would say, as I've heard of some people being. I don't know, maybe they already had commercial contracts with government contracts, which we don't. We're mostly residential. So we would get residential people calling us, and then we'd quote them. It'd be pretty expensive for us to go out and try to help them or treat if they want disinfecting fogs. Versus, like I said, I've seen some people talk about government contracts that have done better. Yeah.
I think just, you know what, we've been hit more than a few times with new things. And I don't know about you guys, but when we first started this, and, I get up at 5 in the morning when we have bad weather, which we have bad weather every year. So I get up at 5 and I'm monitoring and I'm shifting and I'm trying to make the decision. And do we need to close? Do we need to open late? I mean, it's stressful. And so it's been, when you get hit, doom, 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 so much, it's not as stressful. It's just a fact. Okay, so we're going to make a call. Okay, that call was wrong. All right, okay, well, that's okay. We're just going to keep moving forward. And, sorry, I made the wrong call. We actually, one day, we weren't expecting a flood. And everybody goes to their first house and half my staff was flooded in the homes. Could not leave the homes. They were flooded in parking lots. This was last year. I mean, we really do have these issues every year. And so, I think employees, sometimes their instinct is to get angry that you weren't taking care of them. Like we didn't predict that this was going to happen. But in our case, because we're so used to this type of behavior, Candace got in her SUV with a bunch of donuts and pizzas, and she was rescuing people and taking food to people, and so she took care of it right away. So it's like we can turn on a dime, and we do often. Something happened, boom, don't get stuck in rut. you have to turn on a dime, and I think we're good at that. We're good at turning on a dime. After a couple of years of this, you better learn to be flexible.
Yeah, I mean, it's in some regards, I'm sorry that you've gotten so good at that.
No, me too.
It's awesome that you take it as an opportunity and make something good out of it.
Yes, true. Yes, I mean we have very little. We're really lucky to have our kids there, so we have very little complaining and stuff amongst staff. Because Candace is quick when she hears something like, okay, I'm flooded at the client's house. She acts fast. We get little fender benders or something like you said. You had somebody, an issue yesterday with a car. We get fender bender. She's there in a minute. Hugging, patting, show. Oh, yes, Liz.
I'm curious why. So why do you guys think that, or what do you think that you do that is unique, that you are so good at working with family? Because everybody says, don't hire family, don't work with family. It's so bad. It's so terrible. It goes bad every time. You guys have been doing this for years upon years upon years. What's different? Do you have any advice?
I think we have good boundaries is one thing. Pretty good boundaries. We have our different areas that we're in charge of is one thing. Sometimes, like Candace will make a decision on a direction to go with the company that I don't agree with, and I still have to keep quiet kind of and let her take it in the direction because that's her job, and I don't always love it, but I just have to let that happen without a whole lot of input. Now, that being said, we do know, I hate to even say this, he's looking at me funny. We have meetings together. At the end of the day, we can't, if we both strongly disagree on something, at the end of the day, one person has to make the decision.
Yeah. I would say that the is Diana. I mean, her focus is always family. Yes. So no matter what, she wants to be able to see her. It's same with people too. She wants to deal with her people in a way where she sees them on the street. She's not hiding, right?
Right.
Good way to be. So she always wants to be upfront, honest. all that being said, it wasn't easy. You know, you bring in Candace, you know, and
Candace 12 years ago.
she's not a manager, and she doesn't know have any of that skill, and you got her in that position, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle, and there was you know, some arguing and some debates and some hurt feelings and quitting or firing conversations, you know.
We had a therapist a couple of blocks down the street from the office.
But it kind of, you know, but I think just being able to, and everybody has to be a little flexible, right? Yeah. So everybody's forgiving. So, you know, Candace gets her feelings hurt, but she's forgiving. Diana gets her feelings hurt, or Diana's upset. She has to, so everybody has to have a little flexibility. And then Diana just kind of in charge of making sure everybody's heard. And then, you know, now it's awesome because Candace is, I'm impressed with how she's grown, and she just does everything. I don't have to worry about it. She has all these great ideas, and she just runs it. So she's, you know, she kind of on the job training, learned how to do it. You know, now we have Nick. You know, he has his own thing he wants to do. So I'm very grateful that he's with us. But, you know, he has his own things. Like I said, he may not want to do pest control. So, but it's not any different than an employee. I would say it's better in that I can trust him and make sure the stuff gets done. But he still has his issues, you know, that we have to talk about. So, you know, he's still an employee in that regard too.
Ernie's got a suggestion for you. You can start a consulting business on teaching people how to work with family.
Do that. That is, I would tell you, that is a strength that we have. We have managed to do this.
Okay, so we're against the hour here. So real quick, if you haven't subscribed to Cleaning Business Today, you really need to do this. Email, first name, last name, couldn't be simpler. We're going to be rolling out some new stuff for CBT next week you know, we're really excited about. It's going to be adding value for cleaning business owners in a new way. And just stay tuned. Next week, you're going to be hearing some awesome stuff coming from Cleaning Business Today. Our downloads page, I'll take this and post it in our chat the way that we always do. Liz, what are we doing tomorrow?
What is tomorrow?
Friday. Hello.
Friday. Sorry, Tom. I'm trying to ignore this call that's coming in right now. I'm trying really hard to ignore it. Okay. So we have our secret guest tomorrow, and I know at least a couple people have guessed who she is tomorrow. But I'll give you my last clue. And if you can't figure out who she is when I give you this clue, you don't know her. So you will all figure her out because you all know her. She lives and operates her businesses in Texas.
Oh.
So on the spot tomorrow, 5 o'clock, our rapid fire Q&A session. You guys need to be working on these questions, bring them tomorrow because you're going to be getting some awesome answers. Chad, Diana, you guys rock. Thank you for joining us today. I love what you guys are doing.
Thanks, you guys.
And
I know. You guys are heroes.
Hanging on.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So you guys take care.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 Eastern. Bye-bye.